The act of picking up girls in today's day and age is completely overcomplicated. You have random crap like dating apps, situationships, feminism, and the chance that whoever you're talking to is a lesbian, which wasn't something that happened in the good old days because being a lesbian just didn't exist back then. However, picking up girls really isn't nearly as complicated as people make it out to be. So I'm here to teach you some of the easiest ways to pick up girls. First, use a pickup line. Pickup lines are today's go-to for picking up girls. Do they work? Probably not as well as you want them to be. However, if you have no other options, they're a great way to introduce yourself with a bit of humor or personality, because you wouldn't be using a pickup line if you're actually attractive. Now, some of my favorite pickup lines are as follows. Do you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk past you again? Are you a magnet? Because you sure are attracting me over there. Lastly, if you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber. If you used any of these and you weren't able to pick up your girl of preference, don't worry. It's probably because you're still ugly and they don't appreciate humor. Second option, go to the gym. Picking up girls is honestly mostly a feat of physical prowess, and there's no other way to get into peak physical condition besides going to the gym. If you're new to the gym, I would recommend these exercises for increasing your chances of picking up girls. First, dumbbell curls. These are essential. They increase the amount that you can lift with your biceps, a highly coveted muscle. Next, make sure to do squats. Leg strength should never be overlooked. And lastly, you need to do deadlifts. Deadlifts can increase the weight you can lift so you can comfortably pick up girls of all sizes and weights. After a few weeks of doing these exercises, you should be all good to go. Go to the smallest girl in the gym, make sure to check her ID first to make sure she's of legal age, and pick her up. Easy peasy. Just make sure you have some consent, otherwise you might end up with a restraining order. Lastly, just use a vehicle. Using a vehicle is another easy way to pick up girls. By using a vehicle, you can impress them with your ability to drive without crashing, something that the female gender often struggles with. Of course, by choosing this method of picking up girls, it's important to note that the various vehicles all have differing effects on your ability to properly pick up women. So we'll briefly go over many of the common vehicles to pick up women in. A dolly. A dolly is a great way to pick up women. It's straightforward to manage, doesn't require a license, is cheap to buy or rent, and could be quite fun to ride on yourself. Unfortunately, it does require manual power to move the girls, and can be seen as quite demeaning if you use it to pick up women and can't lift them yourself, because they're probably, big boned. The alternative, the shopping cart, is also similarly effective, but is really only good for girls under the age of 12. The bicycle. While traditionally, bicycles can be seen as quite the romantic method of transportation, and picking up girl in one can still be seen as such, this only really applies for people living in compact cities and still aren't old enough to get their driver's license. However, if you get a two-seated bicycle, then your odds of getting a successful pickup becomes a lot higher, because who has a two-seated bicycle anymore? Golf cart. Golf carts are perhaps one of the best ways to pick up girls because they are most definitely a sign of wealth, a factor that is very important when the modern girl chooses their mate. As such, it is a vehicle that can be easy to pick up girls in, since all the convincing you'd probably have to do is just ask, "Want to ride my golf cart?" And any sane girl will probably say yes. If they refuse your offer, then you can just blame it on feminism or lesbianism or the fact that you're on the clock trying to hit on a customer as a caddy. Motorcycle. Having a motorcycle to pick up girls can be quite polarizing. On one hand, you have women who will happily get on your motorcycle with you, and on the other hand, you'll have bitches that cower from the opportunity. I apparently fall under the bitch category because I'm too scared to ride a motorcycle. Cars, the modern vehicle for primarily picking up girls. The effectiveness of a car is at picking up girls is directly proportional to the amount you spent on the car. High-costing cars pick up all the girls, and low-cost cars get no bitches. The way around this is by putting a Lyft or Uber sticker on your car and gaslighting your target that they ordered your service. Buses. Buses are great vehicles for picking up girls. Unfortunately, the girls you'll have the highest chances of picking up are girls that don't have their adult teeth. Half of which is because they haven't grown them in yet, and the other half is because they lost them to age or crack. Another downfall is that if you fail to take these girls home, you'll probably meet the cops, And trust me, the cops will end up picking you up instead and take you straight to jail. Lastly, to put everything together, the best way to pick up girls is obviously with a pickup truck. It's essentially a vehicle that has gone to the gym with pickup in its name. How can it not be great at picking up girls? Which is why you'll only attract men, which is what you really wanted to do in the end, because impressing men is way cooler and better than impressing women.